Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is hautemesstom, and if you are new here, I would love to have you subscribe, especially if you are interested in things like this title might be suggesting that's going to happen. So yes, the title, as suggested, is I'm going to be going on a no-buy, and it's going to last for the second 6 months of this year, starting July 1st. I have only purchased one thing that I am waiting on, and that is the Teresa is Dead palette, and once that comes in, it'll be like the last new thing that I have until the next year. So how did I get here? What's going on? So I've been watching a lot of Hannah Louise Poston, and she did a year-long no-buy a couple years ago, and I've been watching her content around that after she finished, and I thought that this could be a handy way for me to like set up some coping mechanisms, not coping mechanisms, but like set up some good habits as I'm moving forward. I'm making a lot of life changes right now, so this just feels like in my nature to be doing something like this. I will link a card this way, this way, this way. I'll link a card up here for you to check out one of Hannah's videos, and I will also link her channel in the description box below so you can check out her channel. So Hannah's channel, she had a lot of good advice about like why one might want to go into a no-buy, why how to go into no-buy, like what are some things that you can do to set yourself up for success going into a no-buy. I've been actually thinking about this for a while. COVID set a lot of things into perspective for me, both socially and financially. Now, I don't think that money should run the world. I don't operate like that, but however, it's very possible that my living situation could be changing up here in a very short amount of time, which I need to be ready for. It's just going to like cost more. I'm like not actually going anywhere, if that makes sense. Anyway, that's beside the point. So the real reason why is if you are new here, I did a video earlier this year where I added up the total of my entire collection, and I'll link that up in the cards for you and link it down below in case you missed the flash of that real quick and you want to stay on this video. What I did was I tallied up the full total of my collection if I had paid full price for it. And it was a very shocking number. Now, I did receive gratis because I used to work for Sephora, so a lot of my collection is gratis, and I also had a discount when I worked at Sephora. So a lot of the stuff I had bought on a discount, so the number I actually paid is different, and I also mentioned that number in that video. But it is a shocking number, and I have a beautiful collection. You can see like my Pat McGrath stuff up here. Like I have a wonderful collection of makeup, and I think I am doing myself a disservice by bringing new stuff in when I am not fully loving what I already have. So another reason I was been debating and wanting to do this as well is that we on BeautyTube and on the beauty community on Instagram and TikTok, we are often focused on what is new. And now if there are people finding these reviews of these new items from people, that is great. But a lot of us who follow other beauty accounts and want to hear about beauty products, we already have a pretty lustrous collection, right? We have a pretty good collection going. We don't necessarily need what's new because we already have some good stuff in our collection. Now, if you're looking to replace an item or you just finished up like a primer and you want to try a different primer, these reviews are really good to hear what's new if you wanted to try something new and not replenish what you had already purchased. So yes, it is very good that we have reviews of all these new items coming out, and like public relations is a really great way for people to get those reviews from people they trust reviewing makeup. However, like I just said, people who are very into BeautyTube makeup in general, we have pretty good collections, right? So we don't really need to be buying the new thing, and there's not a lot of focus on YouTube on that, right? Why aren't there old reviews, like reviews of products that are still being sold that are already in your collection? So I've already kind of started doing this on my channel where I review foundations that I have, whether or not they are new launches. None of them are new launches now because I haven't worked for Sephora in 6 months-ish about. So I'm not bringing like new foundations into my collection all the time like I used to. So I am reviewing all of the foundations that I have in my foundation drawer, getting things out of my collection, and that has been feeling very good to me. And I also have a lot of stuff that's rather expensive that I could spend some time reviewing, and if people were thinking about saving for a purchase, like one of maybe the Mothership palettes or one of the other palettes that I own, if I do a review of them and they see a new review talking about it, it's like, oh, this product is still like a thing that people talk about. Like, we can't just keep having this cycle where we're always talking about the new. There's so many great products that already exist out there. And whenever you see, especially larger, I think beauty YouTubers are more prone to this because they receive so much PR, is that it is kind of like one thing onto the other, and then they open those drawers and you see 100 foundations and then they're never gonna get through. So that's kind of like the vibe. It's like that's like what led me to this decision. But also I would like to be a little bit better with my money. And let's move on to the next section of the video where I'm going to tell you my rules for my no buy. Hannah's channel, on Hannah's video, she had mentioned that you need to set very clear rules, but not rules that are too excessive that you're setting yourself up for failure. So my first rule is that this is a makeup no buy. I don't suffer too much from like spending much in other categories of my life. Like, I do buy clothes occasionally, but I would say like that's like once a quarter, if that, and it's like not that much that I'm bringing in, and it's not an extravagant expense that I am bringing in. So I think that that's not, so I'm focusing solely on beauty. So that is rule number one. I am not bringing new beauty into my collection. Two, the exception to rule number one would be if I run out of something or something had expired that I need to replenish, but it will be the exact same product. For example, I had rid myself of all of the extra mascaras in my collection, sent them on to people, decluttered the ones that I had already started using and I didn't like just, I wanted to get back to ground zero with mascara because I'm very picky about mascara and I should have just known that. So I like the Shock mascara from YSL, so if I run out of the Shock, or like in 3 months time, after it's gotten a little old, I will replenish that. But that is like the only thing that I'll be buying. The only other thing I could foresee in my collection that I would finish and would replenish would be the Bobbi Brown primer, but that has lasted me a very long time. I'm pretty sure it will last me until the end of the year, if not longer than that. But if it does happen to run out, I will replenish it. It's my favorite primer that I have right now, and I'm not looking to try something new because like that's the whole point, is that I'm supposed to be loving my collection. Rule number 3, and this is my final rule, and this is also kind of an exception. I have a trip planned in the fall where I'm going to be going to visit a friend in another state that I have not seen in the last 6 years. And I'm one of those people who, when I go on a trip, I like to buy something that makes me remember the trip. Now, I'm like 90% certain that this item in my head is going to be a fragrance, and I know what fragrance it's going to be. And I'm excited to smell it in person and try it on and like do all of that. So if it is a fragrance, I'm not really breaking the rules. I don't buy a lot of fragrance. These were all gifted to me in gratis while I worked at Sephora, and like that's my whole fragrance collection. So like not very vast, not very so in my head, yes, I will be buying a fragrance, but if I find something that really inspires me that is in the makeup world, I will buy one thing, and that will be the thing that reminds me of that trip. And those are my 3 rules. And so it's basically just like, don't buy anything unless you need to re-up mascara. And that's kind of those are the rules that I am setting here in front of you. So I would definitely say that my collection is larger than like the average makeup consumer, I guess. I'm not saying like people who watch YouTube might have bigger collections than me, or people who have smaller channels might have like collections just as large as mine, but I'm saying for like someone who jumps onto YouTube and they're like, I was thinking about buying this foundation and I just want to know about that foundation, I definitely have like a larger collection than that. So I really want to work my way through this collection while I'm in this no buy. Pick up things I haven't put on my face in a very long time, get acquainted with it. I also want to try to wear more makeup. I do not wear makeup every day. It's just like not in my nature to do that. And when I put makeup on after work, it's almost explicitly to make videos. Sometimes it's like to meet up with friends, very casual kind of makeup, but again, I'm very low-key. I also hope, actually, very much as I am cycling through things in my collection and seeing what works for me and what doesn't, that I will be decluttering, and to me that's very exciting. I would love actually to get to the point where my Pat McGrath palettes fit in my one. I have one of the Alex drawers with 5 drawers that I use to like hold up part of my vanity. So if I could get everything in that drawer, it would feel very nice to me. And I would love that. I would love that. I also love having them on display, but the problem is that I have them on display, and so when I'm reaching into my eyeshadow palettes, I forget that they're here almost every time. Unless I pass them and I'm like, I want to do a look with that. Like, I very much forget that they're back here, which is like not the best as far as usage goes. So what does this mean for my content? Well, I think I've been kind of slowly shifting to a more sustainable content style as far as like reviewing things that are in my collection. So that will all continue. I'm still working through all of the foundations in my drawer, trying them on, doing the 5-day wear test. I will link one of those videos up in the corner if you've never seen one. It's like long form reviews on foundations where I give them like the real test. It's like the real test. We look at ingredients. It's like a lot of fun. I also put timestamps down below because they are long. Like my ideal situation is that my foundation drawer has like four foundations in it. Also, recently I recreated my version of the Kaleidos Flower Punk palette, and I have been playing with that. Actually, if you can see it through like the flare on my glasses, like that's what I have on my eyes today. So I duped out that palette, which I already have because I have a rather vast eyeshadow collection. So I duped it to the best of my ability. Dan was very excited to do that, and I think as I am tempted by maybe new eyeshadows or new releases, I can definitely look to my collection to see, oh, I already have this, I should love that, if that's what I am like inclined to buy, feel inclined to buy. I also will continue to be very critical of new releases as they launch, so if you've ever seen a new makeup nonsense bingo that I've done, I will continue to do that. I also might just sit down and just do straight up anti-hauls as well. Even though that's kind of included in the price of entry whenever you are doing a new makeup nonsense bingo, I think an anti-haul might be helpful to me because I might need to have to talk myself out of things. So an anti-haul would be like something very beautiful, something very intriguing to me that I would like to purchase comes my way, and I have to justify why I don't need it beyond being on my no buy. And the last thing, I just am very much hoping to see a lot more out of this collection that I have, this little beautiful collection, and I just want it to become more curated as I work through it. I would like to see my drawers empty out a bit, and I would love to find gaps in my collection. As far as eyeshadows go, I'm sure that as I continue to dupe out new releases with a collection, like what I already have in my collection, we're gonna find some stuff that I don't have, and like that would be exciting to be able to, at the end of the year, be able to fill that gap if I feel like that it was something that I kept thinking about once I realized there was that gap in my collection. And I am going to start doing like a list of things that I would like to buy at the end of my no buy, like not all at once obviously, but like things that I'm interested in, and to see at the end of this 6 months if I'm still interested in them when I am like not limited to the no buy. So those are all the things that I'm looking forward to, and my content and all of those things. So I'm very excited to actually start this journey. I'm a little bit nervous. I have some impulse control issues, but that's what we're trying to resolve by doing this little test. So if you are interested in joining me on this journey, or if you are on a no-buy journey yourself, I would love to have you subscribe and comment down below. I would love to hear how it's going for you, or if you would like, or you're inspired to do one as well, like hit him up. Let's start talking about it. Let's communicate. Let's make a bigger space for using what you have on YouTube. And I know there are lots of project panning happening on YouTube. I'm not saying that I'm like a leader of this. I am just someone who's now very interested in being a part of it. So I appreciate you so much for watching. If you liked my voice and want to hear more of it, I have 3 podcasts. They're all linked in my description box below. Different variations of things, lots of fun. Go check those out. And make sure you like this video on the way out. And I will see you in my next video. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.